Sup, and welcome back to another Abydos story time. Today we're going to be checking out the story of the Lost Egg. This is a historical reference book to the story of how we collected the dragon egg, how it was lost, and how weeks later it was eventually recovered. So thanks for joining us today, and here is the story of the Lost Egg. The story of the great dragon egg of Abydos is a story that baffled the people who were there. It left us with more questions than answers and remains one of the great mysteries of Abydos. How the egg first came to be and how quickly it vanished. This story starts with a quest to defeat the legendary Ender Dragon and secure the world's rarest artifact, the coveted dragon egg. Of all items found in this world, it is the only item there is just one of. The End Portal was first discovered by Bloodhoney79 and Lone Wanderer on September 30th, 2020. The quest for the Dragon Egg began 2 days later on October 2nd. The Dragon Egg would be seen for a very short period of time before going missing. Graveyard 2 started early that day preparing materials needed for the journey. Food, potions, rockets, ender pearls, and more. No expense was spared to ensure a swift battle with the dragon in the hardest of environments where Endermen can quickly swarm you. Once preparation was completed, the journey to the portal location began. Graver and a mortal whale paired together and in a small boat, while Bloodhoney and Russellmate took another boat. The journey would take them over 3,000 blocks away to a small village. Finally, at the location, the 4 players stood at each side of the portal and placed in the Eyes of Ender. A loud cracking sound could be heard echoing within the stronghold as the portal opened up before them. One by one, the players entered the portal. The dragon's fight was a tough battle, but only Graveyard 2 did not survive the battle, dying just as the dragon fell. At this moment, his legendary original blade, Tutankhamun's dagger, fell into the portal and was never seen again. Graveyard 2 quickly recovered, and he quickly joined the others. Russellmate and Bloodhoney were regrouping, and Immortal Whale was setting up some chests for storage for one last divide of items before heading into the End City. But Graveyard 2 had other plans. As the other players were regrouping, he approached the pedestal above the newly generated overworld portal. And there it was, the legendary dragon egg in all its glory, and it was a sight to behold. No other item is as beautiful. No other item is stunning. Graveyard 2 knew well how to collect the dragon egg, so after the initial shock of seeing the egg appear in Abydos for the first time, he went to make a grab for the egg, knowing it would teleport to a nearby location where he could gather it properly. For those who don't know, the dragon egg is of such legendary status it cannot be collected by hand. Alternative methods need to be used that we won't detail here. Graveyard 2 hopped on the portal edge and reached his hand out for the egg. He made a grab for the egg, and the egg did what it does to protect itself. It teleported away. However, it didn't teleport to the end stone nearby as it usually does. It teleported a single block away, putting it hovering above the portal. Once teleported, the egg fell into the portal and vanished. The coveted dragon egg was lost and would not be seen again for another 12 days. Panic settled in as the gravity of the situation became apparent. The dragon egg was gone. However, rumor had it that the egg would teleport safely to the world's spawn, so although worried, some comfort was had knowing it could still be around. Bloodhoney, Russellmate, and Immortal Whale entered the city, and Graveyard followed. From here, Bloodhoney and Russellmate formed a raiding party, and Graveyard and Immortal Whale formed another in what would last a 5-hour raiding session. Bloodhoney exited the portal first and went to search spawn for the egg. It was nowhere. However, hope was not lost. There was a possibility of the egg being teleported to the center of the world. Russellmate left the portal. Shortly after that, Immortal Whale exited the portal. He set out to search for the egg at the center of the world. However, this search would prove fruitless, as the egg was not located. Panic began to set in, and Graveyard 2 left the portal to search for the egg himself, now filled with worry and doubt. His fears would quickly become reality. The dragon egg was nowhere to be found. Research was done, and it was discovered the egg can teleport above a flower or long grass and drop itself instead of spawning as the egg. This was likely the case, as spawn was filled with long grass at the time. Griever 2 began to excavate the spawn area completely, decimating the platform that was standing there. The dragon egg was gone. It was not back in the end. It was not at world spawn. It was not at the center of the world. It was gone. The world's greatest treasure, gone forever. The loss of the dragon egg shook the world of Abydos and its people to varying degrees. Some inexperienced players did not understand the importance of this item, but for those who did, this was a crushing blow. As the curator of the Museum of World Artifacts and the one who made the grab for the egg, Griever took the loss of the dragon egg the hardest. The dragon egg was gone forever, and this was not easy for him to accept. He kept thinking about all the would'ves and could'ves and should'ves as he replayed the image of the egg's final moments slipping it into the portal over and over again. Sleepless nights followed, and he placed a ban on conversing about the egg. He wanted the dragon egg erased from Abydos history. Only Griever, Russellmate, Bloodhoney, and Immortal Whale would ever lay eggs on the egg in its brief time in this world. Players continued on with their task, and the egg was not spoken of again. The dragon egg was lost, but not forgotten. It secretly lived in the hearts of everyone involved on that fateful day, but life would go on, and the building of Abydos continued. Over a week would pass before another player would enter the end. On Sunday, October 11th, a raiding party would form consisting of Papalodes and Griever 2, with plans of resurrecting the dragon so that they could collect its breath needed for potion making. They set out for the end and entered the end portal. Griever placed end crystals along the portal frame as Papalodes set up the area for placing the bottled dragon's breath. The dragon came back from the dead, and they proceeded to bottle breath for over an hour before slaying the dragon. After the battle, Papalodes and Griever went raiding in the end city. They never even checked for the egg, as the egg does not respawn when you summon a dragon a second time. The raid lasted 5 hours, with Papalodes falling into the void 1 hour in. After the raid ended, Griever left the end city to go back to the end portal, leading back to the overworld. It was at this moment he saw it. The dragon egg was back upon the bedrock portal in all its glory and magnificence. He blinked twice, and it was still there. But this was impossible. He saw with his own eyes the dragon egg slip into the portal. He was part of the search efforts that followed. It was not on the portal before the dragon was resurrected. There was simply no explanation for this. Still not understanding the situation, but knowing what he must do, he covered the portal and grabbed at the egg. It was teleported safely to nearby Endstone, where it was finally collected safely before being placed in his ender chest. The dragon egg sits before you in all its amazing glory. It is a reminder of how quickly we can lose something important to us. Savor every moment you have in Abydos, because like the people of Alexandria learned, you may never know how much time you have on this beautiful place. And I did date it. It was October 14th, 2020. So this was, I wrote this story, it looks like a few weeks after, because if we went there on September, what was the date we went there? September 30th. So I wrote this basically 2 weeks later. Obviously, I guess I wrote it once it was recovered. So I guess 2 days after I got the egg back. That was the story of the legendary dragon egg and how it was lost and found. As far as where the egg resides to this day, in my ender chest. I haven't really found a permanent home for this because I do worry about its eventual loss. Now, we did figure out why the dragon egg ended up respawning. So the full story of the dragon egg, which I didn't understand until much later, was if the dragon egg is destroyed, it will respawn when the ender dragons respawn. So what would have happened was the dragon egg slipped off the portal, went into the portal, or off the pedestal into the portal, teleported to spawn. Now, since it teleported above grass, it dropped as the block. Because, as you guys probably know, in order to collect the dragon egg, it needs to fall on something to drop as itself. So typically you use one of the torches that's around the pedestal. And so if it fell on long grass or a flower, in which case we'll actually try it here on the flower, what happened was clearly it fell on some grass, dropped as itself, and when Russellmate and Bloodhoney, etc. came looking for the dragon egg, it would have despawned because they would have had the chunks loaded for over 5 minutes, and poof, it was gone. So here I thought it was gone, but meanwhile it was just needing to be respawned when the dragon was respawned. So when we went back and respawned the dragon, it came back. So yeah, that's how we got the dragon egg back. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time.